As motorcycle enthusiasts, we often talk about the benefits and joys of riding a motorcycle. As we gain confidence in our machines, it's easy to become complacent and forget how dangerous riding can be. While nobody wants to think about what could happen, we live in the real world, and things happen that we simply can't control. No matter how uncomfortable it is to talk about, you need to understand the real possibility that every time you go for a ride, it could be your last. Humans are essentially nothing more than soft, squishy meat sacks that are incompatible with asphalt. Imagine skinning your knee times a million. For those that have had road rash, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even at lower speeds, it is enough to expose bone. Not to mention, every piece of dirt, gravel, and other road debris will have to be removed before you can be stitched up. The absolute last thing I want to see is anyone getting hurt, especially if it could have been prevented, so please make sure you're wearing proper safety gear. At one point or another, we have all taken a tumble. Whether we lost our footing trying to carry all the grocery bags in at one time, or we misjudged a step and slipped on a curb. At 65 miles per hour, it is a whole different story. While it may not seem all that fast when you're in a car, imagine being 2 feet off the ground with nothing around you. No seatbelt, no roll cage, no roof, just wide open air. If something did happen, best case scenario, you are dressed head to toe in safety gear with no obstacles in your path of travel, and you'll be fine. Worst case, well, could be lights out. There's a reason they say dress for the slide, not the ride. I don't care how good you are on a motorcycle, a car will win every time. All it takes is one person messing with their phone or focusing on their breakfast sandwich instead of the road, and bam! You were on the ground wondering what happened. I know it is obvious, but cars outweigh motorcycles by at least 5 times, and in an impact, every bit of that weight is transferred into you. Even at speeds around 40 miles per hour is still enough to launch a rider several dozen yards down the road. I know it can be uncomfortable to think about, but please understand that there is always a possibility that you never make it home because someone in a car didn't see you. Dividers on the highway can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, they prevent oncoming traffic from crossing lanes into our path of travel, but on the other hand, they can be deadly if impacted by a motorcycle. The 2 main types of highway dividers are those made of concrete and those made of steel. A fair amount of motorcycle accidents involve the rider sliding across the pavement until they lose momentum or hit a fixed object. With a concrete barrier, there's always the risk of possibly getting pinned against it by your motorcycle as you slide along. In the instance you come in contact with a steel divider, the rider will become wrapped around it with damage to your back or extremities at a minimum. Honestly, I'm not sure which would be worse. If you have ever hit a bird or even something bigger like a deer while driving a car, things like seat belts and airbags help prevent you from being injured. When you're on a motorcycle, it is just you versus the animal. The first scenario involves the animal hitting you, resulting in bruises, possibly broken bones, or worse, you go down. The second scenario is you running over the animal, losing traction, and going down. Even if you miss the animal altogether, you still run the risk of losing control of your motorcycle. Either way, encountering an animal on the road has the potential to end your riding career permanently. The point of this video is not to scare anyone away from riding. I know that no one wants to think about crashing, becoming injured, or even worse. I just want everyone who may be thinking about getting a motorcycle to do as much research as they can and understand that they are taking their lives in their own hands. Some people may ride for decades and never have an issue, but others may roll out of their driveway for the first time and never come home. You don't have to listen to me or take any of my advice, but please, make good choices and take riding seriously. I want everyone watching this video to have a long, healthy riding career and make sure they get home to the people they love every night. And if you guys like this video on motorcycle safety, be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll catch y'all next time. See ya!